Hi guys! So this topic, this idea for a video has been floating around my head ever since I decided to start this channel, because I've been going over like all my old favorite books and things like that. I've been watching booktube videos non-stop, and this thought just keeps sort of going around the back of my head. So I wanted to share it with you and see if you guys can relate to this feeling. So I have dealt with mental illness for most of my life. I dealt with post-traumatic stress disorder, major depression, anxiety, and my work as a healer, as a hypnotherapist, as a counselor, I help people to do self-care, to deal with these traumatic things and work through that. This is one of my biggest passions in life. So for me, healing my own depression and working through those symptoms myself has been very, very important. But also, I was extremely, severely, dangerously depressed for many, many years. And I've realized that a lot of the things that I loved, a lot of the books that I loved when I was depressed, a lot of the movies that I loved, all my favorite things were very, very dark, were very, very intense, violent, had like abusive things in them. And now as I'm looking back on my favorite things, and there's still things that I indulge in that I don't like, some books that have problematic things, and not nearly as dark as what I used to have, but there are, this common thread of having semi-abusive relationships. I don't approve. I don't want it to be in books, but there is part of me that likes it if it's well written-ish. But I don't like that I like it, and it makes me think that maybe it's connected to all the dark stuff that I used to read. And I'm also wondering if, because I haven't really gone back to reread those things or rewatch those things, and I'm wondering how this fits. Is it that depression caused me to be drawn to those dark, negative, violent things, which makes sense? And then is the reason that I feel weird about that and cringy about that because I'm no longer depressed? Or is it because I'm afraid that I'll regress and go back into those feelings that I had at the time that I read those books? Like, one of my favorite books in high school was A Clockwork Orange. I read this twice, and then I saw the movie all within a week. And I was talking very strangely that whole next week it affected me. It just, I don't know, there's this strange feeling that I get from certain books and movies that I felt a lot during depression. And this book gave me that feeling. One of my other favorite movies, Black Swan, gave me that same feeling, which, if you don't know, Natalie Portman portrays this ballerina, and it's all about mental illness. And I just read an article recently about how much she actually struggled, like she actually felt like she was dying while filming that. And I do think that it's a trigger for me. I have this mental illness trigger that it can make me feel like I'm back in that state, so I tend to avoid it. But it's frustrating for me because I still loved those. I loved those types of things so much. I love Black Swan, but I probably won't watch it again for a long, long time. And so I'm wondering if any of you can relate to that. If you dealt with any sort of mental illness, did you notice that the books that you were drawn to were different when you were having depressive episodes versus not? And are you able to enjoy those things still, even when you're not in a depressive episode? I don't know. I just find this to be a really interesting topic, and I would love to have some discussion about it because I haven't I don't have anybody to talk to about books except for you guys now. So I thought that I would leave this topic here for discussion, and I'll probably make some other videos regarding this once I get sort of more in-depth into the thought. It's just been so in my head lately that I just wanted to talk to somebody about it. So, how has mental illness affected the things that you enjoy in books and movies? Have you found that it's different when you are not in that same state of mind? Can you still enjoy those things when you're not in that state of mind? I'm curious. So, I'd also love to know, if you've suffered through depression, what are some of the things that your favorite books when you were depressed that you now can't read? Or maybe that hasn't affected you at all. Maybe it never did. I wonder if my hesitance to still enjoy those things is simply because of a fear of regression, and that's very, very likely. Or is it that those things are inherently, that they inherently produce that sort of negative feeling? Is that the case? I don't know. I love to talk to you about it. So, thank you for sticking around on my video. I really care about the topic of mental illness, so we'll probably be talking about it a lot in regards to books and how they affected me. And yes, and I also like to read books about mental illness, but I can't do them very frequently because it puts me in a state I really connect to what I'm absorbing, and I really just feel it with my whole body. So I think that's a big reason why I haven't been able to really touch any mental illness related book in a while, because I go right into it. But I love that I do that, because I also go right into fantasy, and I also go right into romance. Whatever I'm reading, I'm right there if it's good. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, and I hope you have a wonderful day.